Okay, so making this for a few friends. Going to show you how you can make a whole week's breakfasts, healthy breakfasts, in hopefully less than 10 minutes. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm getting out my jars. We're going to have, you only really need 2 sets of jars or 2 sets of containers. I'm going to do these with 3, so we'll have another option. But we've got pints, we've got 8 ounce, and we have 4 ounce. And so what we are making is overnight oats. And so these are going to be our liquids, these are going to be our solids, and these are going to be our toppers. And we'll be able to make an entire week's worth in hopefully less than 10 minutes. That's the goal. So this is pretty much the base recipe. 60 grams of oats, 2/3 of a cup of milk, 1/3 of a cup of yogurt. These 2 items are optional, and these are scalable. If you only want half this much, then you cut all these in half. Or if you want double that much, you double it all. Recipe is very versatile. And like I said, you can add anything to it that you would normally put in oats. So I'm getting all my different protein powders, because the protein powders work excellent for flavor. Yes, they're chock full of other stuff that you probably shouldn't eat, but it's delicious and it works. So, and the protein powder is by far the most expensive part of this. That works out to about $1 a serving. Everything else may be less than, maybe about $1 altogether. So I like putting peanut butter in some of mine, and then for the milks I use unsweetened almond milk. Now if you use regular dairy milk for this, you may not be able to get away with making an entire week, because the milk may go bad before the week's out. You may want to stick to doing 4 days at a time, but I assure you it will still be a time saver compared to making your breakfast every morning. So we have our oats. This is what we're going to start off with first. So like I said, we're going to do the dries, and we're doing 60 grams. When you measure stuff, whenever possible, measure by weight, because stuff gets compacted. This says, what is it? Half a cup uncooked. Well, I've measured out half a cup before, and it's usually more than 40 grams. But 40 grams is 40 grams, regardless of how much volume it takes up. So whenever possible, measure all your foods by weight. At least the dries. The wet stuff, it's normally easier to, and I'm about to screw this up, put that in my dries container. My wet, so we put our container on the scale, we zero it out, and now we will fill it up until the scale says 60. And we're at 22. And you can see I tore open my oats like that, so they are easier to pour. Otherwise I'm doing them with a spoon. So I'll take a few out, put them back in there. Alright, and now I'm going to put the phone down while I do this 6 more times. So I'll just put this right here and you can watch me. Obviously, if you're doing double servings, then you may need to use, a quart jar for your liquids and a pint jar for your solids. And so what you'll see, so later on I'll put my protein powder in with the dries. Whenever I do chia seeds or flax seeds, they go in with the dries. And then anything liquid you obviously mix in with the liquids. Now sometimes it doesn't have to be a liquid that you mix in. You'll see that's where I put my peanut butter. You'll also see that's where you can put bananas or even frozen fruit if you want. Now depending on how soft you want the fruit, you can either put it in when you make it at the beginning of the week and it'll just thaw out in the fridge and you can have it that way, or you could simply just throw it in the container the night before instead of letting it sit in the fridge all week. Totally up to you. Now mine usually turn out to be the consistency of pudding. It's a little bit creamier than oatmeal, but you know, it's almost like having dessert for breakfast, which I'm a fan of. And if you don't like the texture, you can adjust the ratio. If you want it more runny, then you use less solids and more liquids, or if you want it thicker, you use more solids and less liquids. My recommendation is just make sure you measure each time so you can get your ratio fixed however you want it. Alright, so I'm done with my oats. And now, the other trick to help you log everything, because if you're trying to lose weight, you want to log everything you eat. Because you don't know what to fix if you don't know what the problem is. So, when you have all different kinds